Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katerina, or Kat if you're new here, and this is my channel of everything cozy, bookish, and lifestyle related. And in today's video, we're doing a video that I probably should have done when I started my YouTube channel, but I didn't, and that is the Booktube newbie tag. Now I'm very excited to do this because it not only gives you guys an opportunity to learn more about me and my love of reading, but really what I want to accomplish with this channel and what I want to do going forward. So I do have the list of questions here on my phone, and the first question is, why did you start this channel? So there's a few different reasons why I started this channel. Number one is just because of my love of reading. I think that that's a big reason why we all start a booktube channel. I just love reading and I love everything about reading, and I think it's an amazing hobby and I just want to share that. My other big reason is finding bookish friends. I have a few friends that like to read, but they're not as much of readers as I am, and I guess I just wanted to really create a community around reading and make more friends through this channel. Question number two is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to Booktube? So I would like to acknowledge that I know that I'm coming into a space, and this isn't a bad thing, but I know that I'm coming into a space that is very saturated and there are a lot of booktubers and a lot of book content creators. And so I know that not all of my videos are going to be reinventing the wheel per se. However, I really love creating videos that are around lifestyle and creating a lifestyle with books. So I think some of my uniqueness comes from my book recommendations. I love diverse reading. I love diverse fantasy. I love diverse literary fiction. I love reading classics, but also just uniqueness in general. My personality, I tend to be very down to earth, and I always talk about being cozy and creating a cozy lifestyle, and this is kind of what you're going to see through my channel. Question number three is, what are you most excited for about this new channel? And once again, it kind of goes back to the reason why I created this channel, and that is growing a reading community and making more friends through the Booktube community. It just makes me really excited, so I'm hoping just to grow kind of my friend group through my Booktube channel, as well as to meet new people and get diverse perspectives on literature. Question number four is, why do you love reading? So there's a few different reasons why I love reading. One is escapism. I absolutely love being able to escape into a new world. It's the reason why I love fantasy so much. On top of the fact that it is very easy entertainment for me, TV, movies really don't do it for me, not as much as obviously reading books. What book or series got you into reading? There are quite a few series that got me into reading. I actually was not a big fan of reading, probably kindergarten through about 5th or 6th grade, until I picked up the Aragon series. I absolutely love The Inheritance Cycle. It's still one of my favorite series to date. I loved everything about that series, and that pretty much kickstarted my love of reading. Obviously, second to that is Twilight. Twilight came out when I was in, I think the last book came out was when I was in 6th grade. No, that doesn't make sense. I can't math right now, but the first 3 books were out by the time I was in 6th grade, and I ended up picking that series up when I was in my 7th grade year of middle school, and I obviously was a Twilight diehard fan. But yeah, those were the 2 book series that really got me into reading, was Aragon and Twilight. And question number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktuber? And I think my biggest question that I would ask is, how do you avoid reading slumps and or creative ruts when you are having to read a lot for YouTube? So obviously a lot of booktubers and people that create bookish content have to read a lot for their channel. Just like I do, I'm having to read a little bit more to be able to produce content, and I've noticed that I've slipped into a little bit of reading slumps here and there. So how do you avoid getting into those reading slumps when you have to create reading content? That would be what I would ask. So question number 7 is, what challenges do you think starting a booktube channel will be the hardest to overcome? And for me specifically, it is, I have a full-time job, and I do love my full-time job, and I do not foresee myself leaving my full-time job anytime soon. And so my biggest challenge is going to be creating content while also having a full-time job. So one of the things that I've noticed in the last 6 months of being on YouTube is that when it comes to really long reading vlogs that start on a Sunday and end on a Sunday, it's really hard for me to get in filming time because of the fact that I am working a 9 to 11 hour shift. And so by the time I'm done with work, it's really exhausting to pull out a camera and film for that day. For example, the reading challenge where I was switching my screen time for my reading time, that was a very hard video for me to create because of the fact that I was on my phone for 3+ hours a day, but I also had to work. And so I had to work as well as make sure that after work I was filming 3 to 4 hours of me reading. So that was really challenging, and it's something that I'm going to have to kind of think about going forward. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? And that kind of goes back to, I think, question number 6. My actual love of reading didn't kickstart until I was about 11 or 12, and that's when I really started reading and collecting books. And then in high school, like, my love of literature like absolutely exploded, and I was reading everything that I could get my hands on. Question number 9, where do I read? So either I read in my bed, that is like the main place that I read, or mostly I read on one of our couches. Question number 10 is, what kind of books do you like to read? And my main thing that I love to read is fantasy. I absolutely love reading fantasy literature. 95% of the books that I own on my shelf are all fantasy. However, that being said, I also love literary fiction and classics. I would like to dabble in some other genres. I'm not a big romance reader, but I would like to try a few romances. Question number 11, and this is a question that I've added myself, is, what books do you always recommend to people? And I have 5 books. Well, actually I have a lot of books that I recommend to people, but here are the 5 books that I always recommend to people, especially people that really would like to get into fantasy. And the first one is a no-brainer because I talk about it quite a bit, I feel, is The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. I love the Mistborn trilogy. The Mistborn trilogy, and just in general, Brandon Sanderson's writing is so accessible. It is so beautiful. I love his fantasy. His world building is easy to understand and connect with, and his characters are a little bit on the younger side when it comes to adult fantasy. Then if you're going for cute, cozy fantasy, I always recommend this author's, and that is TJ Klune's Under the Whispering Door. I pretty much recommend anything by TJ Klune. If you pick up anything by TJ Klune, you will absolutely love their writing, and you will love their cozy atmosphere that they create. And if you're really just stepping into fantasy, this next one that I recommend is YA, but it is a series that I have been obsessed with since day one. It's an older series, and that is the Poison Study series, or it's called the Study series by Maria V. Snyder. And this is a series that I think I've read 4 to 5 times, or maybe 6 to 7 times. My number 1 recommendation always, no matter what, and if you haven't read it, you need to read it, and that is Empire of the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. Yes, it is a chunky book, but it is fast-paced. It is wonderful. I love everything about Jay Kristoff's writing. The only thing is, and this is something that a lot of people point out, is how he writes his women characters. So going in, just be aware, he does write his women characters a little bit on the lewd side. Do I agree with it? No, but he does do an amazing job at world building and character development and the magic system. This one specifically follows vampires, and they are like the most traditional form of vampires possible. And then the final book that I recommend that I read this year that I'm so obsessed with, and that is The Prior of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This one is very chunky. It does take a little bit of time, so if you're not into fantasy or you just started fantasy, probably not a book that I would recommend to start with. And then finally, question number 12 is, what does my book collection look like? And as I said, most of the books on my shelves are fantasy. I have a lot of YA fantasy. I have a lot of adult fantasy. I also have a large manga collection. I absolutely love manga. That's another genre that I absolutely love reading. My manga collection has grown in the last 3 to 4 years, and it continues to grow. And then of course, I also have book piles on the floor, on my desk, also in my closet, because I have no shelf space. And that is the last of the questions, guys. I hope that this gave you a little bit more insight into me and my reading and my love of reading, as well as what I'm hoping for this channel. I know that this is a video that's been 6 months in the making, but I just felt like now was a really good time to make this video before the new year so that anyone that's new to my channel can get to know a little bit more about me. I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, and in the description below, definitely let me know your favorite book of all time. I'm always open for reading recommendations, and also make sure to subscribe to my channel for new videos. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!